Props today, as always, I always grab my blocks. They are not required as I'm looking through my class plan. But if you like to have them on hand, I always just put a set at the top of my mat. So if you know you often use blocks, go ahead and grab them. Otherwise, you should be good today. As people are popping in, come on in and say hi. We are going to get started. But real quick with the class today, we are going to work on, I think I put the word Saucha in the class description. So Saucha is a niyama in yoga. And niyama is one of the, yamas and niyamas is one of the 8 limbs of Patanjali's Yoga Sutras. And it's basically like ways to live your life, I guess is the best way to put it. And so Saucha is the niyama of cleanliness or purity. And so, yes, it can mean cleaning out your life. It can mean physically cleaning out your space. It can also mean cleaning out the mind. And that's really probably where Patanjali was focusing that concept. But I think those two go hand in hand. So when we clean out our physical space, it actually helps us clear out our mental space. So our practice today is going to clear out our physical bodies. So we'll be doing some building, a little bit of heat building today. And yeah, just take it at your own pace. A little bit of breath work to get the body heated up a little bit of twisting. And yeah, should be a nice, well-rounded practice for you guys. All right, so having said that, let us come to a comfortable seat. I'm gonna get a sip of water. And we're gonna start in just a basic Sukhasana, crisscross applesauce. Always drinking my water before we get started. All right, I'm gonna slide on back. And if you wanna prop the hips up, you can. I'm gonna suggest that you bring the cross of your legs a little farther forward, almost like your shins are now parallel to the edge of the mat. Sometimes you bring them way back here and it's not as comfortable on the ankles. So when you cross them a little farther forward, it might feel good. And then you might notice, I would really like a pillow. You can see this is just a couch cushion, a blanket, whatever. Might feel good to start there. And we're just gonna start by setting our intention. So let's roll the shoulders up, down, and back. And soften and relax the face. And begin to deepen your breath, arriving here on our mats together today. Nice deep inhale through your nose. And exhale out the mouth, let it go. Deep inhale again. Exhale, release. One more cleansing breath like that, inhaling deeply. Hold at the top. Take another sip of air in. Hold. And now exhale out the mouth and just sigh it out. Let the shoulders move away from the ears. And notice if you're rounding forward or leaning forward, straightening the spine, envisioning a little string pulling at the top of your head. And just do a little observance and notice how you're feeling. So when we talk about Saucha, talk about that purity of mind, of body, of spirit, the physical, the mental, the soul, right? And so our goal of our practice today, or at least the goal of my practice, you may set your intention as you like, is to just clear out the physical body to make room for the mind to come to present, which is really the goal of all of the practices I teach. Which is why we meditate after the physical asana. So today we'll be bringing the energy up a little bit, clearing out the congestion, that kapha spring energy, and hopefully bringing a little energy into your day. So if you'd like to set an intention, something different, perhaps there's something that you've been meaning to bring into your life or wanting to focus on, I invite you to do that now. And we'll seal our intentions together with another cleansing breath. Big breath in, let the belly expand, the chest expand. The breath comes all the way up to the top of the rib cage, to the collarbones. Holding at the top. And now exhale out the mouth, make an audible sigh, let it go. beginning with that first bit of cleansing breath to begin to clear out. If the eyes are closed, you can let them flutter open. And we're going to stay here with the legs crossed like this to start. Actually, you know what? Let's just switch it up. Let's switch the crossed legs. I'm moving my cushion because we're going to come into a twisting kriya, and I find the cushion a little bit harder to manage. So now your other shin is in front, and again, legs are parallel to the edge of the mat. We're going to bring the arms out to the side, thumbs point up, and you're going to bring the fingertips to the front of your shoulders, and then your thumbs towards the back. And it's fine if they don't quite touch. That's just sort of that general motion. And we're going to take it with kind of a sharp inhale and exhale through the nose. If you're experiencing any dizziness, if you have uncontrolled high blood pressure, go really slow, or you can even skip this and just take long, slow breaths. If you want to go a little faster and you're feeling it, you can join me as I speed it up. So we'll inhale to the left, strong, sharp inhale through the nose, and then exhale out the nose to the right. Inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. All right, so you can keep going. This is relatively slow, and you might need the cushion if you're going slow like this. When I speed it up, I like to not have the cushion. And just begin to notice how that feels. And you're going to feel it in your abdomen. So if you're menstruating or pregnant, don't do this, or take a really small, gentle twist instead of these sharp twists, okay? I like to let my eyes close because I tend to get dizzy. Inhale left, exhale right. And we'll be here for about a minute. If you want to begin to speed it up, you can. Keep going. Notice the heat as it builds in your abdomen, especially if you're going fast. You're going to notice it a lot quicker. And you might notice as the nasal passages begin to clear a little bit. Keep going. We'll say about 10 more seconds. 5, 4, 3, 2, slow it down. 1, nice and slow. Come back to center. Keep the eyes closed. Let the hands float down. Palms face up. Deep inhale through the nose. Hold at the top. Squeeze the pelvic floor. Let the navel come back towards the spine, chin towards chest, and hold the breath in. Keep holding. And when it's no longer comfortable to hold the breath, release the breath, release the pelvic floor, release the abdomen. Notice that energy you've just created. You might feel a little buzzing. You might notice you can breathe a little easier. And when you're ready, blink your eyes open. Let's extend the legs out in front of us. Stretch them long for just a breath. Just let that go, and even let the ankles kind of go side to side, or the feet kind of sway like your little kid. It feels pretty good. All right, we're going to bring the soles of your feet together now for butterfly legs. And again, if you need that height with blanket or cushion, place it under your seat. You can grab the toes, the ankles. I'm going to go ankles today, and just let the knees flutter. And my feet are a little farther away today just because it feels more comfortable for me. So make it comfortable, and we're just going to take these little flutters, again, kind of like we're a little kid. We have a little fun and joy in our practice today, right? And just feel the hips begin to open. So nice. One more breath here. Exhale out the mouth, let it go. And then place the feet onto the ground, fingertips come behind, little gentle windshield wiper, and let the feet come really wide today. So nice and wide, and then you'll notice, as you roll side to side, you might even come off of one hip and then the other. Should feel like a nice kind of awakening of the hips, getting to move the hip joints, get that fluid moving. And I invite you throughout your practice today to kind of invite in a smile, invite in a sense of joy. Let's do one more each side and come back to center. And if you're like me, you're halfway off your mat, so let's come back to the mat. Stretch the legs long one more time. Flex the toes, and I'll spin so you can see me a little better. Feet are a little bit apart. Press the hands down into the mat and really root your thigh bones down. So a lot of strength in your legs. And then begin to lift and open through the chest. Hands are pressing into the mat, opening the heart, spreading your collarbones wide. Staying for another breath. And then let the palms float, perhaps. Keep the strength in the legs. I like to bring my thumbs to my armpits as an option, and then really lift the heart, open the chest. We got the sun coming in just now. So nice, so good. One more breath in. Let the arms come up, and then as you exhale, let the spine round as you come forward. So often I tell you to keep a straight spine. Just for the start of class, let's relax the toes and round the spine. Finding that little bit of rest between postures. Good. Lift the gaze. Come up, and let's make our way onto all fours for cat-cow. And as we come in, oh, I've missed my hair tie. I'm going to grab it. As we come into cat-cow today, we're going to mix it up a little bit. So let's place, it's going to be a little awkward, all right? So sort of from table, I'm going to move my right foot up and then cross my right knee in front of my left, all right? Almost like we're kneeling Gomukhasana legs, kneeling cow face pose. And then let's just start with some hip circles to your right and around. And if you're having any wrist pain, just take some fists on the mat. My left wrist is a little sore today, so just be mindful. You can always lower to forearms if that's necessary. It's a little harder to take hip circles that way. And then come back to center, planting the palms on the shoulders. Inhale, lower the belly, lift your heart. And exhale, round through the spine, chin to chest. Take a few with your breath. Just feeling into the pose. And then coming back to center, we're going to switch the cross of our legs. So I'm going to move my right leg and then bring the left knee in front. Feet are just a little bit wide. And let's start with those hip circles going to the left this time. It feels really nice. I gave myself a lovely little spinal adjustment doing this yesterday, so we are doing it again. You might feel some little cracks or just stretches through the outer hip. It's all good. Let's take a couple more. And then we'll come back to center. As you inhale, lower the belly, lift your heart, cow pose. And exhale, round through the spine. And take a few like that, inhaling, lowering, and exhale, rounding. One more, inhale, lower. Open the chest, exhale, round, press the back of your heart away. Come back to center, let's uncross the knees. Come back to tabletop, and then let's rise up onto our knees. We're going to take a little bit of a flow. We're not in a flow class, so if this is too much for you, just modify as you need to. If you need a little cushion under the knees, grab a blanket. And as you inhale, we'll let the arms float up. Gaze lifts. Exhale, lower the hands down to the mat. Inhale to cow. Exhale, round to cat. We're going to move with the breath just for a few movements. Inhale up onto the knees, extend the arms up. Exhale, lower the hands down. Inhale, lower the belly, lift the heart. Exhale, round the spine. One more like that. Inhale up. Extend the arms, gaze lifts. Exhale, lower. Inhale, cow. Exhale, cat. Let's add on a little bit. Like we're taking a sun salute from our knees. Inhale, lift the arms up. Exhale, lower the hands down. This time, walk the hands slightly forward. Come to a supported plank. So feeling the knees down on the ground, core is engaged. Notice my hips are in a straight line. So often I see people taking it like this with their bum up. You're not engaging your core that way. So see if you can hold for a couple breaths. And then exhale, elbows are going to come straight back, lower down to your mat. Inhale, press up to cobra, any height. Exhale, roll back down. Let's take 2 more cobra rolls. Inhale, lift the heart. Maybe it's just a baby cobra to start. I'm kind of in a half cobra. And exhale, lower. 1 more. Inhale, up. Maybe a little higher this time. Exhale, lower down. Beautiful. Press into the hands. Let the knees come wide. We're going to take a brief child's, but we're not going to make it a super relaxed child. So let's just start by feeling into the low back, letting it round, and then bring your gaze forward. Walk your hands and fingertips away from you. Your elbows lift up. See how far you can stretch the fingers forward, and then relax the head down. And keep a little pressure in the finger pads. 2 more breaths. Good. Inhale, look up. Let's walk both hands over to the right. As you exhale, lower the hips to the left, lower the head down, press into the finger pads once again. Walk those left fingertips away. Inhale, lift your gaze. Walk both hands over to the left this time. Stretch the right fingertips long. As you exhale, sink into the right hip. Press the fingertips down. Inhale, lift your gaze, come back to center. Let's come back to tabletop. Let the knees come parallel. Sway the hips side to side. Let that go. And we're going to move into our standing poses at long last. Walk the hands forward. Tuck your toes. Send your hips high. So starting with, of course, our down dog, our favorite inversion, my favorite inversion. Some people don't like down dog. And I get it. When I first started doing yoga, I was like, oh my God, this is so hard. So if you're struggling, bend the knees, lengthen the spine long, press into your knuckles and fingertips. Maybe even, I like to do a little sway or a little bending of one knee and the other sometimes. So just take that moment here to do a little pedaling out. We've got another breath, and let's come back to stillness. Let the heels come high this time, coming up on the balls of the feet. Hips go high. Exhale, lower the heels down. Walk the feet slightly forward, and they can come a little wide. Place your right hand in the center of the mat. We're going to come into a down dog twist. So left hand is going to come around to the right calf, and then gaze comes under the right armpit. Really strengthening here. If you need to bend the knees, bend the knees. Another breath or 2. Good. On your next exhale, release the left hand, come back to center, pause. And we'll take the twist to the other side. Left hand to the middle of the mat, right hand to the left shin, and twist and gaze under your left armpit. Really strong through the left hand. And you might notice things shifting. Can you stay centered in the weight between your feet? That's the challenge, right? That's one of the challenges. 1 more breath. Excellent. Release back down. Walk your feet back to a regular down dog. Now bend the knees, gaze forward, and let's take a little stroll, a step, a hop, top of the mat, forward fold as you arrive. Inhale, come up halfway, lengthen your spine, fingertips to shins. And exhale, fold back down. Inhale, come up halfway. Exhale, fold. Last one, inhale up. Exhale down, bend the knees, relax the head. We're going to do a pose I did this week in a class I took with Elena Brower. We're going to lift your right heel and place your palm under your right heel. Palm is face up. And then we're going to do the same with your left. So you might have to bend your knees a whole lot here, which is where we're going, okay? If this is too awkward, you're going to just take a modified version without this. But we're going to come into this kind of strange chair where you begin to bend the knees, look forward. You might even come up a little bit off the heels, and you're pulling the heels with your hands. It's very odd. If this is too much, just take a low chair, okay? Or just have that motion of pulling, even without lifting the heels. Gazing forward will help you keep your balance. Ooh, I'm falling over for sure. Stay for another breath. Interesting, right? Lower the heels down, release the hands, relax the head, forward fold. Stay for a couple breaths. Let that go, just releasing. You can grab opposite elbows if that feels good. All right, we're not done with the work. In fact, let's all grab opposite elbows. Once again, bend the knees. Belly is to thighs. And then begin to lift your heart with your elbows overhead, coming up into chair pose. Ooh, stay for a breath or two. Wonderful. Exhale, lower down, straighten the legs, release the arms, forward fold. Bend the knees once again. Last round for chair. Take the opposite grab of your elbows. And we're going to begin to lower the hips nice and low. Inhale, lift the heart, chair pose, taking this frame overhead. One more breath. Exhale, lower down, straighten the legs, let that go. Bend the knees. Let's rise on up now to high mountain pose. Let the palms meet above. And exhale, hands come to heart center. Relax the shoulders down. Notice how you're feeling. Release the fingertips. Notice how your energy is doing. Taking a couple strong chair poses. Let's step the left foot back. Setting up for warrior two legs. Bending through the right knee. And really grounding through that back foot. I always love to start with hands on hips because most people are warrior two like this. So I would love for you to bring your hands to your hips and then lift your right hip up. Press strongly into your back foot so weight is actually equal between both feet. And then really press the feet down into the ground. Navel pulls in and now extend the arms out. Gaze expansively over your front middle finger. Warrior two. And maybe you lunge in a little more as you hold. And then option here to turn your gaze to the side, interlace hands behind your head, and open your chest. Elbows come wide. Just clearing out any stuck, stagnant energy, especially opening through the shoulders and the chest. One more breath. And then exhale, release back to warrior two. Flip the front palm, inhale, shift forward. Exhale, scoop it back, reverse warrior. Option for a half bind, bringing the left hand to the outer hip or the sacrum. Once again, opening through the shoulder. If you'd like to add a little neck stretch, you can bring your gaze down towards the back foot. Little balance challenge there. And then gaze comes back up. Release the arms. Let's straighten the front leg. Send the hips back and lean forward. Coming into triangle pose, right hand down to your shin, the ground, or a block. Make sure your right hand is stable. So often I see people floating. That's not our goal today. I want you to find some stabilization. So that's where I like to use my block. Really press the palm down into whatever it's connected to. And then left hand to hip. Draw the gaze down for a moment. Send your right hip back. And then left hip begins to draw under as you spin your chest to the side. Left fingertips to the sky. If you can take a peek up, great. If not, just keep that gaze neutral. Really pressing firmly through the bottom hand. Left fingertips extend like you're spreading your wings. And maybe even taking a little baby back bend, bringing the left arm behind, which we don't often do, but if the gaze is lifted, opening further through the chest. And then let's release that. Gaze comes down. Little bend in the front knee. Come all the way up. Let's spin the feet to the side of your mat. Heels slightly in, toes out. Bring the arms out to a T. And then we're going to move into a five-pointed star. So make sure you're stable in your legs. You might need to adjust your width of your feet. And then bring your arms up to a Y. Start opening through the chest. And you wouldn't think this is a hard pose, but I've learned this week, holding this for several breaths can be quite challenging. So we're going to stay here for a few breaths. It's a lot of work on certain muscle groups in my shoulders that apparently aren't getting worked. Give yourself a smile, open through the heart. Navel pulling in, tailbone drawing down. One more breath. Beautiful. Exhale, release. Let's bring the arms to frame your front foot. Step back to dog and pause. So nice. Spine is long, sits bones towards the sky. Find that little stillness between the poses. 2 more breaths. We're going to take that series on the left side. So bring your left foot forward, ground your back heel, and we'll rise up into warrior two. Take a moment to adjust the feet, hands to hips. Find that strength through both feet. Left hip lifts. Press back into the right foot. Make sure your left knee is tracking towards the left foot. And knee is not in front of ankle. I see that a lot as well. So if your knee is in front of your ankle, bring the left foot forward. Navel pulls in, and now let's float the arms up. Relax the shoulders down. Keep pulling the low ribs in. Nice expansive gaze out in front of the left fingertips. Maybe even giving yourself a smile here. And then option to play with the arms, bringing your gaze to the side of the mat. Interlace hands the opposite way. Bring them behind the head and let the elbows come nice and wide, open through the chest. Really feel that expansiveness through the chest. Welcoming in all that is good in your life. Clearing out the cobwebs, clearing out the stagnation, the negative thoughts. One more breath. And then release the arms. Let's flip the front palm, shift forward, take it back, reverse warrior. I know we've got a lot of strength in the legs. We need to straighten, come back in, go for it. Option for that half bind, right hand around the low back or sacrum, or even around the hip, the left hip. And so you can stay here looking up or bring the gaze down for a little neck stretch towards your back foot. Balance challenge. So good. Let's release the gaze. Release our reverse warrior. Straighten the front leg. And we're going to come into triangle. If you need to grab your block, get it. Shorten your stance. You can do that. We're going to send the hips back to start. Arms can be in front and back. Send the hips back, lean forward, and then let the left hand come down to your shin or a block or the mat. Right hand to hip. Draw the gaze down to start. Lengthen the left hip back. And then we'll begin to draw kind of the right hip underneath as you spin your chest to the right and see how that feels. This is a great way to kind of get into the pose a little deeper. And then you can begin to extend right fingertips up to the sky. Maybe the gaze comes up to the right thumb, maybe not. Keep spreading your wings wide, so making sure your left shoulder's plugged into its socket. And then if you want to add a little more expansion, right fingertips are even coming behind you, opening through the chest. Giving yourself a smile, just welcoming in the day, the afternoon, the evening, wherever you're at in the world. One more breath in. So good. Let's exhale, release. Right hand comes down, little bend in the left knee. Come all the way up. Spin to the side, heels in, toes out. We're going to come into Skandasana this time. So let's bend into your right knee. And I'm just going to take a supported Skandasana today. So hands to heart. I'm not lowering down. And we're going to take a gentle side to side, bending into your left knee. And then right. Just moving nice and slow with your breath. Inhaling to center, exhaling into the knee. Oh, this feels extra good for me this morning. Let's take one more each side. You can always support yourself with your fingertips down on the ground or a block. And then let's come back to center. Rise up, let the arms come out to the side, open through the chest. If you want to come into that Y version of five-pointed star, you may. Keep the navel pulling in to protect the low back. One more breath. Excellent. Let's relax the arms down. Parallel the feet. Bring your hands to your hips now. And feel your navel pull in, tailbone draw down. Inhale, lengthen the spine up to the crown, to the sky. And then exhale, let's lower halfway. And we're going to hold here in our half fold. Really feeling the strength of your back, the length of your hamstrings. One more breath. Excellent. Now let's release hands down. You can bend the knees if you need to or walk the hands a little wider. Relax the head and maybe the hands begin to walk back towards the feet. If you need blocks here, by all means, grab them, place them under your hands. and really feel the weight come into the center of the ball of your foot. Not all of it, but just shifting it a little forward. And that'll really help this pose. You can bend the knees a little if you need to. Shake the head out. Big breath in, exhale out the mouth. And then let's come up halfway. Let the toes come out, heels in. One more time, a little bend side to side. And this time I'm just going to stay supported. Just to really open up the hips, inner thighs, adductors. Should feel nice. One more each side. And then spin around to face the top of your mat. Let's step back to down dog. Notice how you're feeling. Notice that the mind is starting to clear. The cobwebs are clearing. The excess energy is clearing. Coming back into balance. So good. All right, we're going to come into balancing half moon. So this is where I definitely like to have a block. I'm going to bring my foot up, but not all the way. So right foot forward. Grab a block if you have it, if you need it. And then we're going to begin to lift the left leg. Keep a bend in your right knee. And so you might not actually need the block if you bend your right knee enough. And then we're going to roll the left hip open, stack it on top of the right. All right, so this is step one. If you're like, I cannot do this, go to a wall and take this pose right up against the wall and take it with a block, all right? So there's some beauty about having that wall there to support you. And then left hand's going to start by coming to the left hip. And I want you to really extend the left foot higher than normal. And then maybe you begin to extend the left fingertips. But we're bringing that energy up. If you need to keep the gaze down for balance, by all means do. There's no prizes to be won by by taking it further than what feels okay for you. Let's take one more breath. I know this is so strong. So good, you guys. Exhale, lower the left hand down. Let's step back to dog. Now notice how your dog feels. It probably feels like a very welcome relief. And that's the beauty of this pose. What becomes or starts out as challenging becomes a resting pose. And you can bend the knees as much as you like. One more breath. And then we'll take this to the other side. So let's look forward, bend the knees, bring your left foot part way forward, maybe 2/3 of the way. Grab your block if you need it. We're going to place it under the left hand and begin to float the right toes. Keeping a bend in the left knee, we're going to start to roll your right hip open, stack it on top of the left. All right, really feel that length. And you can even bring the right foot a little higher than normal. And then right fingertips to the sky. Maybe the gaze spins, maybe it doesn't, maybe it stays down. Opening through the chest. Almost think of taking that little back bend like we have been. Ooh, right, like in our triangle. Give yourself a smile if you're falling out. Give yourself a laugh. One more breath in. So good. Exhale, lower the right fingertips down. Square the hips. Let's step back to dog. Pause. If dog is like, I'm done, dog, lower the knees down and come to child's. We'll all meet there in just a moment, so just a couple breaths here. And then let's lower the knees down. Bring them wide apart, big toes to touch. And we'll take a relaxed child. We can let the hands rest and stack on top of each other, placing the forehead gently on top. Notice how your energy is now. Is it shifting? Is it moving a little? Have you cleared out some of the stagnation? So good. Let's release our child's pose. Walk your hands forward. Come to tabletop. We've got a couple more standing poses and we'll bring it down to the mat. So let's come back to our dog. Puppy's your alternate. We won't be here very long. Let's bring that right foot forward. We're going to set up for warrior one this time. Step the back foot up slightly. Feet are on opposite tracks. And then come on up, hands to hips, bending into the front knee. And if you need to come up and straighten, square the hips, and then bend back in, by all means. If you find this right knee, like mine is going in front of my right ankle, heel toe your right foot forward. It's not it's not safe or as effective to have that knee in front of the ankle. And then pull the right hip back, navel to spine, let the arms float up. And maybe this time they come to like a Y shape, palms face forward. Notice how that feels, opening through the chest a little bit more. One more breath. So good. Let's relax the arms down, straighten the front leg, bring the back foot up, moving into pyramid pose if you'd like your blocks. Perfect spot for them. And we'll just straighten the spine, lower down, hands to hips, and then relax the head down. Let the fingertips come to the ground or block. You can bend that right knee if you need to. If your block is at the back of your mat like mine, grab it. Just taking this moment of rest between sides to lengthen the hamstrings, relax the head, bring some of the energy down for a little more balance. Good. Bend to the right knees. Let's step up to the top of the mat. Come all the way up to Tadasana. Pause in your Tadasana. Check in with yourself. How are you feeling? And let's root down through the feet. So feet are about hip width distance. There's 2 fists between the arches of your feet if you want to do a measurement. And then really feel your quads engage. Feel the femurs root back into the sockets. Press down in the toes. Navel pulling in. Let the shoulders relax down. Chest open. Fingertips have a little energy to them. Let's bring the pelvic floor up, engaging the pelvic floor for a couple breaths. Good. Release that. We're going to come into Warrior One with the left foot forward, right foot comes back. Take your time to find your Warrior One. Make sure your ankle is not in front of or behind the knee. Square your left hip back. And I always like to start with this little lunge and then lift the heart up. Bring your arms up to a Y. Open through the chest. And if for some reason this is not suiting you, just modify the arms. You can always do that little interlace behind the head again. That might feel really nice right now. Actually, it does feel pretty good. I'm going to go right there. One more breath. Excellent. Release. Come back up to the top of your mat. Pause for a moment. And then let's step back to face the side of your mat once again. Feet are parallel. We're going to do a final twist before we come down to our backs. Let's bring the arms out to the side. And we're going to take a twist to your right, letting your left hand come to your right foot, right fingertips come high. This is too much, bend the knees a little bit, or you can just bend the right knee. Actually, that's probably a little more effective that way. And then inhale, we'll come back to center, arms to a T. Exhale, twist to your left. And if you can keep both legs straight, great. We're going to keep moving with the breath. Inhale up, exhale right. Inhale up to center, and exhale right. Keep moving. My hand is actually kind of the top of my foot. You can take this with the hand outside the foot if you want to get crazy, fingertips pointing backwards, but that's a lot on my hips. So I'm modifying as I need to. You modify as you need to. Let's do one more each side. Feeling that heat, the strength of the legs. Come back to center. Relax the arms down. Let's heel toe the feet in. Pause in your Tadasana. Let's take a little bend in the knees here. Step the feet slightly wide. Tailbone draws down. Hands to hips or to the low back. And we'll just take nice big hip circles. Sometimes it's kind of nice with fists on the sacrum or hands on hips, either way. And then come back to center, switch directions. Couple more, just getting that fluidity going. I've got a lot of sticky joints today. All right, last one, finish that up. Come back to center, pause. So nice. Let's face the top of our mat. Last down dog of class. If you would like to flow through, here's your chance, or you can just hold your dog. Otherwise, you can come to plank. Take a chaturanga. Inhale, up dog or cobra, open through the chest. Exhale, down dog. Lower down to your knees, sit back on your heels if that is okay for you, and pause for a moment. If not, just come to tabletop. All right, open the eyes if they're closed. We're going to make our way down onto our backs. Nice and slow lower. So let's place feet onto the mat. Arms come in front. Kind of let your navel pull back towards your spine and then count for at least 10, 9, 8, lowering down, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Rest the head down, hug the knees into your chest. I'm going to squeeze in a little rock side to side. And let's place the feet on the mat nice and wide to start. Let the knees knock together for just a moment. And we're going to come into a version of a twist. So I'm going to invite some different arm versions here. If you can bring your arms out to the side, great, we'll start there. And then we'll let both knees fall to the right. Feet are still wide on the mat. Left arm is going to come out to that Y shape or kind of close to the ear. Gaze to the left. See how that feels for you. So we're doing a nice deep side body stretch. You should feel it through the armpits, the side of your waist. Relax and soften your face. Wonderful. Let the gaze come back to center, arms back out to the side, knees to center. Knock the knees together for a moment. And then both knees fall over to the left. Gaze to your right, and then that right arm can come up by the ear or out like a Y again. Deepening the stretch. You can even hook your left foot over your right knee if you want to get really deep there. Let your face relax, jaw release. Beautiful. Come back to center. Let the knees knock together one more time. Pause. Place the feet parallel. Coming into our dynamic bridge. Arms come down by the side. As you inhale, press your low back. Begin to lift your hips and lift your arms up alongside the ears. Fingernails come all the way back down to the ground. Move the props out of the way. Hips are lifted. And then as you exhale, let's contract the pelvic floor, and we're going to slowly lower down, arms lower, hips lower. Release the pelvic floor as you release the low back. Let's take that again. Inhale, lift the arms, lift the hips. Pause at the top, squeeze your pelvic floor. Exhale for 6 this time. Just beginning to slow things down. Keep squeezing the pelvic floor. We're going to do 2 more. And relax. Inhale up. Pause at the top, squeeze the pelvic floor. Exhale, lower. So we're coming back to the state of balance. Keeping the inhales and exhales even. Last round. Pause at the top, squeeze the pelvic floor. Exhale down. And release. Notice how you're feeling. Let's hug the knees into the chest once again. Place your hands onto your knees and then straighten your arms. And then we'll take some circles in one direction so you can bend the elbows to sort of move the knees around. They're moving together. And then switch directions. Keeping your hands where they're at. Come back to center, straighten the arms. Let the knees come wide and let them come back together. Out and in. Last little bit of hip opening. And then final pose before meditation. If you want to take a happy baby, there's something else that's calling to you that we didn't get to today, go ahead and take that now. If you're like a headstand person and you're dying to go upside down, go ahead and do that now. A few breaths to play. Just let the face be soft, relaxed. And then in your own time, we'll make our way into Shavasana, whatever that looks like for you today. And give yourself several breaths here before we start our meditation. I love to encourage everyone to extend the arms, take up a little space. You can even take that 5-pointed star on your back. Sometimes that feels really nice. Adding in that little extra chest opening. If that's too much, just let the hands come down by the side. Still roll the shoulders under, palms face the sky in this gesture of receiving. Then you're welcome to stay in your Shavasana. If you prefer to come to a seat, by all means, slowly make your way into your seat for our meditation today. And thank you for the donations. If you feel so inclined to donate before meditation so you can stay in your Shavasana, go for it. Otherwise, there'll be time at the end. Just let yourself be totally relaxed and comfortable. Notice how you're feeling. Have you cleared out some of that stale, stagnant energy? Have you spring cleaned your body? And notice how the breath flows. Just as we need to clean out our spaces, clean out our lives, we need to do the same for our mind and our body. And for most of us, the easiest pathway to do that is by starting with the physical, right? So today we've cleared out the physical body. We've created space in the mind. The same can be true when you clear out your spaces, your calendar or schedule. When we stop doing so much, we invite in space. And sometimes that can be very challenging for us. When we bring in room for space and it's not filled with anything, that can cause anxiety, tension, nervousness. And that's when we have this beautiful practice called meditation to help bring us to our true selves. So I'd like you to notice, as you feel into your body, how the breath is flowing in through your nose. Notice how it feels. And as you exhale, allow the breath to kind of just leave from the back of the skull, from the back of the head. So the breath flows in through the nose, you feel it in the back of your throat, your soft palate, and then it just releases into the earth or out the back of your head. Your awareness is like this soft internal gaze at your third eye center. It's almost like your mind can become a movie screen. And the breath is continuing to clear out the cobwebs of the mind as it comes in through the nose and leaves through the back of the skull. And staying here for a few more moments, the breath focused in the head. Now bringing your breath awareness down to your heart space, as if you're breathing in through your heart center, the very center of your chest. And exhale out the back of your heart into the ground or into the space behind you. Each breath in is rejuvenating, each exhale is releasing. And now drawing your awareness to the entire front of your body, allowing each and every cell to bring the breath in. And as you exhale, stagnancy, dullness, nervousness, anxiety, it all releases through the back body. The face is soft and relaxed, the jaw is released, and the tongue rests in the bottom of your mouth. And feeling this Saucha, this purity of mind, body, and spirit as you continue to breathe, allowing each inhale to rejuvenate, each exhale to release. And I'll be silent for the next minute or two, and I'll bring you back with the sound of the bell. And so just continuing to breathe. If the mind begins to wander, come back to the breath. Aham Brahmasmi. I am the universe. All that is contained within you is contained in this universal energy outside of you. You are a microcosm of the macrocosm. You are this infinite being filled with potential, filled with this beautiful prana or life force energy. I invite you now to begin to make small movements, wiggling fingers and toes, wrists and ankles, maybe even taking a full body stretch, letting the toes come together. If you're lying down, arms come overhead. Big stretch with the inhale and exhale, release, bending through the knees. Maybe even bringing them into the chest one last time. And gently making your way into a seat as you're ready. And drawing hands to heart center, we'll pause for this moment of gratitude, giving gratitude for yourself, for showing up for you. Gratitude to all those practicing together today, and sending love and gratitude to all beings in this universe. Loka samasta sukhino bhavantu. May all beings be happy and live freely. Thank you so much for your presence and your practice today. Namaste. All right, thank you all so much for coming. I'm going to slide up to see your comments. If you want to join me, I'll be here 2 Fridays from now, 8 a.m. Eastern Time every week. Again, you can go to my bio, follow me on Insight Timer, see all the things about me. If you wish to donate today, those are very, very much appreciated. If you don't want to donate directly on Insight Timer, I do have, sliding up here, I have links set up in my link tree. You can donate through PayPal or buy me a coffee as well. I will have fun. Take care, you guys. Sending you so much love, and I will hopefully see you in 2 weeks. And feel free to message me if you ever have any questions or just want to say hey. I love hearing from you guys. All right, take care. Bye.